I want to start now talk about the carving hook and some of the modifications that you can do to the carving hook. This board with the holes in it was kind of like a carving hook. And you could kind of do the same thing by putting a couple pegs on the bottom side just to hook over the edge of the bench. And that's why it's called a carving hook, because it hooks on the front of the bench. Another way to do it is like a router pads, or this is a pad that went under like a carpet or something, but this is a little piece of rubber. You just put that on the bench and that holds it quite good without the clamps. So that's another little approach here. But one that I used for many years, this was my traveling one. And the traveling one, normally I didn't have these two screws in the bottom, but the two screws on the bottom is what catches it right at the edge of the bench. And now what you do is you're driving into that corner with the chisels and that. So now you can take your chisels and you can pound that thing into the corner, move it around, you know, kind of like that, to carve. You can see how much I kind of beat up this edge. I used this for many years. And I used this carving a lot in the living room, sitting on my bench. And then when I would travel, when I'd go on a business trip, this always was packed with me. I would sit in the hotel room and I would carve with this. So and I'd carve with it on my lap. So I'll show you how I use this on my lap. So first of all, you can make a carving hook, something that just with these two screws that just kind of catch the edge of the bench, and you're pushing against that, going that way. You can put a board on there too, but I just kind of use the screws so I can take them out easily, and I can use it without the screws right on my lap. The key to this thing is, first of all, it's got a little bit of weight to it. So this is a really ratty piece of mahogany that I had. It's a kind of a fairly thick thing, and I just nailed on two boards on it. So just a corner, and it doesn't even have to meet at the corner. And you can see how much it's been beat up, hit. The edges are all eaten away on here from hitting it with the chisel. So it's been used a lot. And the fact that it's rough on the bottom helps hold it on my lap. So for many years when the kids were growing up, this was my way of carving in the living room. And I could be right with the kids while they're doing their homework or watching television or whatever. Okay, the thing is just sitting on my lap. There's nothing holding it. And it's kind of stable. So I can take the chisels and I can pound. And it moves around a little bit. Now, if you don't want it to move around, you drill some holes in here and put pegs. When I was doing this in the living room, I would put a bed sheet over the whole chair that I was sitting on. And then when I'd sit down, I'd put another bed sheet over my lap. Of course, then the dog would sit next to me too. So the dog would be full of chips when they get out. So there was a lot of chips spread around the house. That wasn't, you know, the benefit of sitting there with the kids, carving right in the same room with them. And so you can push the chisel by hand, just kind of swing the thing around. And so when I was on business trips, this was a lot of carving done in the hotel room, just like this. And I had the bed sheets there, and I bet you the maid always wondered where all these wood chips come from. She probably inspected the furniture pretty well, but I would leave all the pile of wood chips in the wastebasket. But that's how to use a carving hook. Probably if I was still using it today, I would have a couple holes in here with some pegs to just keep it a little bit more stable. But as you can see, you can hit that thing pretty good, and it stays on your lap. You know, it bounces a little bit and all of that, but it's not bad. And if the carving hook was on the bench, with just that hook in the front of it holding it at the edge, it still can move side to side. You still have to chase it a little bit on the bench. And that's why in the workshop, I just take and clamp it down, and then we aren't chasing our boards all over. Anyway, that's the carving hook.